It's walleye spotting season at the Pleasant Mount Hatchery. We'll take you there. Hello everyone, I'm Don Jacobs, and I'm here at the Pleasant Mount Fish Hatchery. Now we're gonna go wild with DiscoverNEPA, finishing up a look at the walleyes in Lake Wallenpaupack. We checked 4 traps, we had an amazing amount of fish, and now we're here. Jess Andolino is gonna tell us the process of taking the eggs and the sperm and making baby walleyes.
Walleye season is most of our favorite time of year here. It's exciting. You get to go out on the boat, you get to spawn the fish, produce the eggs, and then it just comes full circle when you can stock out the fry and make some fishermen happy. So our fish are on the truck. We have some guys here suited up. They're gonna check the gender, males, females, and then we separate the females into ripe females, which means that they are actively giving eggs, and then green females, which they have eggs, but they're just not quite ready to give them to us. He's gonna press slightly on the bellies, and see the white coming out? That is milt, so that is a boy. And this one, look, the eggs are free-flowing, so she is ready, and so she's going to go over there. So that is a ripe female. That is a female. See how big her belly is?
Right.
But she's just not ready to give eggs, so she'll go in here and we'll tag her.
Got you. The males are held in another part of the hatchery until they're needed, and after the sorting is done, the green females get a tag.
What Dan is going to do is he is going to put a blue zip tie on the dorsal spine of the females that are coming in, and these ones are not ready to give eggs, but we want to keep track of when they do. So this just tells us when these fish came in. We keep it in a log. It's more easier for data collection for us to keep track. So yeah, they don't go back to the lake with these tags, and it does not hurt them. It's quick, painless.
And there it is, the top of the fin.
Yep. After we're done sorting, we're going to sedate the females. It kind of relaxes them. It makes this process go a lot easier for them.
How long do they sit in that?
4 minutes, 5 minutes.
Okay. After a few minutes, it's finally time for spawning.
These fish get dried off because any little bit of water into the eggs or the milt activates them. So we don't want fertilization to happen without eggs or milt. We need them both together. So we keep everything very dry.
All right, since you're gonna let me try this, explain.
Start at the top here, right here.
Right?
Right there.
And those are all little bitty eggs, right?
And yeah, see how his head, he's got her head kind of up.
Yep.
Yeah, a little bit.
I almost don't see the eggs. It looks more like applesauce or something.
That's what a lot of people say, yeah.
And you're not hurting it in any way, right?
And her being sedated has relaxed her, so this is not traumatic as it looks.
That is a lot of eggs for one fish.
That was a good one. The excess fluid is draining, and then we put all the eggs in a dry bowl.
And of course, I had to give it a try.
Perfect. That's good.
This is feeling like there's a lot more in here too.
It's a workout after you do 5, 6 of the big ones.
It really is. When do you know to say uncle?
You got a little bit more, because we try not to leave any left in. Look at you, you're a professional.
So how many eggs, if you had to guess, are coming out of one really healthy female?
Probably about 90,000.
90,000?
I'd say 90 to 120,000, depending on how big the fish is.
When they were done with the females, the same practice was performed on the males. So you said these fish are not sedated, so it's more like a wrestling match now?
Yeah, unfortunately the males are normally smaller, so.
The process continued until the milt of 6 males was taken, and it was time to mix the 2.
Now we have our milt. I just put it into a syringe to make it easier. At this point, when we add the milt to the eggs,
right,
nothing's happening. There's no water introduced. So we're just going to use this opportunity to mix them both together to distribute it before adding the water.
Now you talk genetics. That's a pool of a bunch of different fish.
Yes.
So you're really spreading that out.
Yes. Well, we don't want to bottleneck ourselves.
Right.
And so water, and that's when the magic happens. And I just add a little more. So the turkey feather, like I said, Is just a gentle way to handle these eggs. Walleye eggs are actually a lot different than like trout eggs because walleye in the wild, their eggs stick to the rocks, stick to the plant matter. You know, they're very sticky, and we don't want that here in our jars. So we stir them in, it's called fuller's earth. It's a clay mixture, and it just is so slightly abrasive to, you know, remove that stickiness. So then when we put them on the jars, they don't clump together. They're all flowing, they're free of fungus. So that's something different we do with the walleye than other species.
Sure. So when they hatch, how long before they're ready to be stocked by you guys?
For here, because it's all temperature dependent, fertilization to hatch is about 21 days. And then we will stock our ponds. And in about 2 months, we'll get an 1.5 inch fish. And then they go all over Pennsylvania. Last year was 14 million.
And it'll all be out of here so then next year the process starts again?
Yep.
And the fish get returned.
The fish do get returned. They're only here for a little while as brood stock, less than a week.
So you've seen the process from beginning to end. We took them out of the nets. We brought them here to Pleasant Mount. Then the stripping and the mixing, and here they are. And by the end of June, they'll be in waterways in Pennsylvania, ready to grow big enough for you to catch. Now, for this episode of Go Wild with Discover NEPA and all the other episodes, you can go to discovernepa.com or you can subscribe on YouTube.